The Easy Sports Talk Show with Ed Smith and Javon Adams. My name is Javon Adams. You can call me Jay or J Love. That man over there is Ed Smith. He not only played professional baseball, but he also played in the National Football League for that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons. He is an author. He is a motivational speaker. What is good, my brother?
Hey, chilling, Jay. After a good weekend of NBA basketball and got the draft all completed. Got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, a couple things that I wanted to get into. One, I want to get into the NBA playoffs, and I want to check on your son to see how he's doing, especially with the way that the Milwaukee Bucks have not been playing. And then I got a theory, or just a balloon to throw out there just to get your thoughts on something in the NFL and quarterbacks and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. I want This is where I want to start. Since we broadcast from Phoenix, from the Phoenix metropolitan area, the Suns going into the season, they were billed as a super team. I don't think we ever called them a super team though, because I know Bradley Beal's supposed to be good, but Bradley Beal's not that dude. And just because you have 3 stars on a team doesn't make you a super team. You were. I didn't think they were going to be able to fill out that roster. They did much better job than I thought that they would, based upon the limited amount of cap space that they had to work with. And you mentioned, hey Jay, we got to see how many games these dudes play together in total before we say anything. And I think, what was it, 30 something? I think that you saw, but they get swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I just wanted your thoughts on that, because there's dysfunction afoot in the world of the Phoenix Suns.
Man, you know what they showed me is no matter how much talent you put together, you got to have heart. And these Phoenix Suns, man, I'm not gonna call them soft because at that level nobody's soft, but man, they showed no heart at all. Minnesota came in and put their foot on their throat, both on the road and at home here in Phoenix. And you thinking at some point they're gonna step up and bow up and some type of last stand, and they just couldn't do it, man. And like I said, it comes down to not having a heart of the team. And if you look at that team, how it's constructed, Durant, he's always been, hey, I just want to hoop. I just want to hoop. That's all he wants to do. Okay. Booker, he's out there scoring points, but sometimes they're like, I'm not gonna say they're meaningless points, but there's no and Beal, he's just there sometime. And there's no you look at each team, like you look at even the New York Knicks, you got Brunson, who's the heart of the team. You go to some of these other teams and you can say that dude's the heart of that team. There is no heart of the Phoenix Suns. And no matter how much talent you put together, you just can't fake it when it gets to this, when you get into the playoffs. One thing, regular season, you can fake that funk on a nasty dunk. But when you get to the playoffs, when it means, live or die, ride or die, you go home. And some of these other teams just showed that they were more, I don't know, I keep saying that they just had more heart and desire than the Suns did. And that's going to be a problem because you can't move any of those 3 guys. And, so with that nucleus, you're going to have to come back and try to do it again. And, what are you going to do? You got no point guard. You got nobody to run the show. And you got, we always gave CP3 a hard time, right? But during his time here, he was that dude. He was a dude, might have got on some nerves, might have, not always there with injury and stuff like that, but he was a heart of that team. You can see how they're missing that right now. And no matter how much talent you think you put together, if you don't have that in the playoffs, you're going to be going home after a 4-0 sweep against a young team that came and just put it to you, man.
True indeed. So, and along those lines, you mentioned heart, but I'm curious about what you think the responsibility of an athlete is. I'm sure in the locker rooms and in the clubhouses that you had coaches that you didn't necessarily like along the way. There's a story, and the reason I'm saying this is because there's a story that came out just after the game yesterday. Essentially, it's from The Athletic, that essentially said that the Suns, part of their dysfunction is that they don't respect or like the coach. But I'm curious as to can that always be the excuse or part of the excuse? Because they could bring in another coach and you don't like him, then what you going to do? Waste another year of your career? and then you bring in another coach, and then you don't like that coach because and so it can there is no perfect coach. This the same way that there are no perfect players. I'm just curious about how what the responsibility for the athlete is, the player is to yeah. If you don't like the coach, you maybe you can voice your displeasure after you win a championship and say please get this guy out, or after you go deep in the playoffs, and then go to the ownership and say and make your case. But what's the responsibility, if anything, for players to just get on the same page, whether you love the guy 100% or not?
That's a cop out. I mean, how many office buildings around this country have somebody in leadership that everybody it just adores in the office? No, most of the time you got half the function, half the team likes this guy, the other half doesn't, or you got a percentage that are kind of just indifferent. Same thing goes with sports. And here's the thing: we just had Monty Williams in there not too
Yeah.
long ago. We found a way to get him out of here. Then you bring in Vogel. I mean, where is the perfect coach for these guys? And at what point do you have to suck it up as a spoiled millionaire and maybe work for a guy who's expecting more out of you? You know, he wants you to play defense. You might not like his philosophy, but if you're going to go to that next level, you have to do what he says. And that's what I think a lot of times happens with these players, especially in the AAU society that these our American players are born and raised in now. They don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
told anything. You know, it's their way. If they don't like it, they're going to go play for another AAU team. If they don't like it in college, now they're transferring in the portal. It's just that quick. And, you know, I know we got some older players here, not necessarily of the AAU or NIL, time frame, but the same attitude is evolved from these guys. You know, who's this guy to tell me what to do? I don't care. Get him out of here. And it's just, you know, it's like so at some point, everybody has to play for somebody. And you're not, you know, my high school girlfriend, her dad said something to me one time, and you just take those nuggets sometimes like, wow, that man was a genius. And he said if everybody liked everybody, it wouldn't be enough time in the day to spend with each other. And I mean that
Okay.
and it's serious, you know. I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I didn't like every coach or manager I played for, but I knew I had to go out there and do my job, and that's what it's all about. And these guys, I think, get to a point where they don't like the way he's using me, and then you know, just shut up and play. Sometimes you just got to say shut up and play, and then sometimes it comes down to the results. If you win, everybody's happy, everybody loves everybody. If you're not winning, and part of the reason Suns didn't win because they didn't play enough together, they weren't tough enough. You run down the list, and some of that comes from them, you know, not from them pushing back from a coach that might have been demanding more of them, but they weren't willing to give it. So whose fault is that?
Good. That's good. Good word right there. Let's get a couple other series. I don't want to go through everyone. I did want to touch on. I think we mentioned this when we were kind of our preview of sorts, just looking at the first round matchups, and mentioned that the Milwaukee and the Pacers. I said, I don't know, man. Maybe the Pacers might be able to get them, especially because we didn't know if Giannis was going to play the first couple games. But Giannis still hasn't played, and the series is 3-1. Dame Lillard didn't play. Didn't play on Sunday. I mean, how are you looking at how is the household? Because I know your son is a Milwaukee fan. Is he resigned to the fact, but my favorite player on the team isn't playing, therefore we're at a disadvantage? Or how's that going, and how do you see this series, man?
He's trying to put a lot of blame on Doc, and I keep telling him the players are the ones that got to get out there and do it. And you know, but he's resolved to the fact that it just doesn't look good for them. Here we are once again, Jay. Giannis has become absent in the playoffs. I mean, he's figured out a way the last couple or so where since he's won his title about 3 or 4 years ago, however long it's been, we get to this time of the year and something nagging happens, and it's almost like becoming a recurring theme. And that team is just not going to win without him. And then also when he's in there, I don't like the way they use him, whether it's Doc or whoever's coaching this team. Is just, you know, your big man should have some type of post game in him and should be bringing the ball up every single time. It's almost like, you know, he's the man and he's like, well, I want to bring the ball up. Okay, you do whatever you want to do, Giannis. You know, I'm not going to tell you not to do what you want to do. So and with Doc in there, I thought Doc would be the one to bring some structure. Well, in the light of everything, Doc was the stake in the grass who came in got the other coach kicked out. And I don't know if Doc really wanted that job, and I don't know if he should be there moving forward after this, because
Yeah.
this, I mean, Indiana's much better basketball team. They're going to win this series. Milwaukee's down 3-1 now, but we're resolved here in the household, which I'm glad about, because I was
Ha.
really worried. They get them long. I'll have to tell you a funny story off air. You and
Okay.
I, just a couple nights ago, I had to give him one of them looks, man. But yeah, we were resolved to the fact that this one's not going to end well, and it's a sign of, no matter how many superstars, once again, no matter how many superstars you just throw together, and this one is consisted of two with that, because everybody thought Dame and Giannis, oh my God, juggernaut. Nah, you need that cohesiveness. You need everybody on the same page once again, and it's just not gelling all year. Just never quite, yeah,
Girl. Yeah.
yeah. And we're seeing it now in the playoffs. You can't just turn it on in April and expect it all of a sudden everything to be right, and they have been right all season long.
Last one that I want to touch on, I had to open the wound, is the 3-1. The Lakers are down to the Nuggets. We got one. LeBron, what was it, after losing game 3 in the post game press conference, said it's just a game. You can't tell me that, man. You can't tell me it's just a game when all of your actions throughout the season, as you're going to look to become the highest scoring player, and you doing the crown thing and all those things, and then when you down 0-3, you say, man, it's just a game, man. Just ease up, man. Just don't worry about it. We straight. We good, baby. I mean, that's something else right there. But 3-1, I think that I am happy that they didn't go out like the Suns in the sense of getting swept. So getting one is better than getting none. But this is a foregone conclusion, because I think when they play, I think they play today, that the Lakers are probably out of there. And in the same way that you mentioned with the Suns, there's not a lot that the Suns could be able to do unless they try to trade a Durant or something like that. Lakers are pretty much boxed in too, because of all the decisions that they made to put them where they are right now. But your thoughts on that series? It's a foregone conclusion to me, unfortunately.
Well, it's a lock. He's going to be playing with his son next year there in LA. Well, because that's just, he says it and it's supposed to be done, right? But,
Right.
I love how, it's just a game when you're down 3-0. It's not that important, really, but, you want to, he's a dude, man, loves to write the story. How do you do it? Like, instead of writing the story to end, he likes to wait till the story ends and then writes it, because it
Right.
fits his narrative the
Yeah.
best.
I will say this though. I think LeBron, when you make the wrong decisions, when you put yes, we got a championship out of it. I don't care what nobody says, it's championship.
Bubble.
So I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't care if it's a hubba bubba, a bubble, whatever. But you think that this person, meaning Anthony Davis, is going to be the second. I'll be able to push everything on him and everything will be fine. But Anthony Davis is a 2, not a 1. Right.
Yes.
And then you try to, well, let's bring D'Lo back. D'Lo is a 4, not a 3.
Yeah.
And all these bad decisions, and nobody's perfect, but man, sometimes when you're a part of that decision-making circle, that council for the Lakers that they have, and LeBron and his team are part of that, you got to wear some of that. You got to wear some of that.
He never will. LeBron's never made a bad move in his career. I'm not a Lakers fan, and I know you got your championship in the bubble, but I would still ask you, all you would have been 6 years together, 6 years. Yeah. Do you consider that a success, especially when you're looking at?
No,
okay,
I don't.
Thank you.
We made it to the conference finals once. We made it got the championship. And we've been in the playoffs a couple times. I mean, nah, man, nah.
You were a 10 seed, or no, a 7 seed this year, and you're talking about, they're talking about taking out the Nuggets and stuff like that. And nah, man, this is one of those, you have to wear the good just as much as you wear the bad. You have to look at these seasons where you got, gentlemen sweep. And here's the thing: nothing's in stone until they get, they could go on a run here. We never know. But you can't, it can't be like, well, I'm the greatest that ever played the game. But at the same time, you got these, outs in the first round and won the one title in 6 years there. So I love how everything is dictated by the narrative after the fact. Then
Yeah.
he's always got something to say. One of the most passive aggressive, just every in his tweets and in his messages and stuff like that. One of the most passive aggressive people I've ever seen in all of sports history, because he loves to have an opinion on everything, and it's always kind of bent toward his narrative. So
Yeah.
I mean, take it for what it's worth. We'll see what they do tonight. It's going to be a long playoff run without the Lakers in there if they do get bounced tonight, because doggone well, nothing scripted, but they would love to have them hanging around.
Yeah.
The question is, would you rather would they sacrifice if the commissioner had a magic ball, would he sacrifice the Nuggets to have LeBron hanging around, like say to the conference finals, or even
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, because then
I
that
think
just
so
gives
too.
more content that just drives
Yeah.
the machine.
But
But they'll
the
still figure a
crazy
way out.
the crazy part is they'll get bounced here in the first round, whether it's tonight or whatever, and somehow they'll figure out a way to fit the Lakers into the
Yeah.
discussion all the
Yep.
way to the championship and beyond. Hey, how do you
Yep.
think the Lakers would be doing if they were still in, matched up against such and such? It's like, really, you know.
Yeah. Indeed. So before we head out of here, Easy Sports Talk Show, Ed Smith and Javon Adams. We do this thing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go to easysportstalk.com. And so, go subscribe on YouTube as well. It's at The Easy Sports Talk Show, at The Easy Sports Talk Show. And subscribe wherever you're listening to this as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend. But got a theory. So we talked about, and a lot of folks have talked about the Michael Penix Jr. being drafted by the Atlanta Falcons and kind of what were they thinking and all that, because you're looking at, and some people touched on what I'm about to touch on in terms of this, but most of it has been, you got Kirk Cousins, you're paying him all this money, then you're going to bring this rookie in and all that type of stuff. And so, but some of the things they talk about are age related to the quarterback. And we talked about that kind of, I'm jokingly mentioned that Bo Nix is as old as me, right? Because he was in college for so long. But came across a story or heard a story that the Denver Broncos, they gave Bo Nix they gave him not all the play calling, but they gave him a plan, right? So before they met him, they gave him 12 hours to soak up what a game plan would be. And so he comes in the next day and he executes it almost flawlessly. Something that when it comes to rookies, you don't necessarily see, right? One of the things that you're talking about with Penix is that he was in a pro style offense. He has a lot of experience. He's in college for a while. I believe Penix Jr. is 23. Bo Nix is 24. And so the issue has been that they're going to be 27, 28, when they're on there, when the time for the next contract, all that type of stuff. My question to you is, what's wrong with that, in the sense of, if with a lot of the rookie quarterbacks that are coming in, they're younger, because there's the Zach Wilson is just as old as Bo Nix, right? Now for Zach Wilson, maybe if he had stayed in college a little longer, maybe he would have been a little bit more seasoned when they took him out the oven, and he wouldn't have had the struggles that he's had to this point so far. I'm just thinking, what's wrong with that? I get it. If you're the player, you want to get in there because you want to get to your second contract as soon as possible for the money aspect of things. But from an organizational standpoint, wouldn't you want these players to stay in a little bit longer if they could, so that they could become a little bit more experienced and become a little more ready for the rigors of becoming a professional?
No, I'm right there with you. I totally agree. And what happens, Jay, is when it's all about the analytics now, and it's all about, well, look how everybody else is doing it. You have to get the quarterback in there as soon as possible, so you can get him ready as fast as possible, so you can take advantage of him on his rookie deal, and without even thinking, why not bring him along slowly so he learns and processes, and by the time we get him in there, he's more seasoned. We might have lost a year or so on his rookie deal, but in the long haul, it's going. Nowadays, Jay, instead of we have to nurture and help him progress, it's like we got to see what we have as fast as possible, because in 4 years we might be drafting another quarterback, or because he didn't pan out. And it's like, no, we don't give these young dudes the toughest position in all of professional sports. And you want to get them in out there as soon as possible. Even your
Yeah.
backup tight ends can come in and they go in and out. They're backed up, they're backing up a veteran. They're learning how to do it in the meeting rooms, watch film, go out and read coverages, and all your signs, your blocking, different things. They're able to go out there, and fail and learn, and then eventually, you got a seasoned product. But with these quarterbacks, we can't do it because we got to get them on that. We got to get as much as you can out of them as fast as possible so we can see what we have. Because we don't, we got to move on, or we got to get as much as we can out of that rookie deal. And you look at a team like, you look at what Kansas City did, and you would think more teams would think, hey, they didn't just throw Mahomes in there, did they? He played one game in his rookie year, the last game of the year when they didn't have anything to play for. He sat an entire season, played one game at the end, and then they were like, okay, he's ready. And they put him in the next year. What is wrong with that? Absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But because everybody's monkey see, monkey do, we got to get him out there as fast as possible. We can't wait we can't wait and lose a year on that rookie deal. Man, it's just, like I said, I get so sick of it. And then they want to throw these quarterbacks on the heap so fast because
Yeah.
we tossed him out there. He wasn't ready. We didn't have enough around him at that, but he was supposed to go out there and perform. And, 3 or 4 years later, we're doing it all over again. New York Jets. Just run down the list of teams that have done this, mode, and they're right back at it, drafting a quarterback. And it's disgusting, man. I just get so sick of it. It's disgusting.
There you go. He is Ed Smith. I am Javon Adams. Again, we do it 3 times a week. EasySportsTalk.com. EasySportsTalk.com. So make sure you tell a friend about what we got going on here, I should say. And as we always like to say around this time, you can